Clinical trials are highly controlled ecosystems. Patients are carefully selected, variables are closely monitored, and the resulting data is pristine. But when a drug clears those trials and hits the global market, that control vanishes. It enters an unpredictable environment of supply chain disruptions, complex drug interactions, and off-label usage. Tracking those infinite real-world variables is a strict discipline known as pharmacovigilance. Suddenly, oversight extends far beyond a few thousand trial participants. Pharmaceutical companies must actively collect, process, and evaluate safety data from millions of diverse patients across dozens of countries simultaneously. Without a ruthless system to filter that massive influx of raw information, the volume of data degrades into static. Genuine safety signals get lost in the noise, leaving patients critically exposed to undetected harm. To structure this oversight, regulators require companies to define their pharmacovigilance audit universe. This is a comprehensive map of every single department, every regional affiliate, every software database, and third-party vendor handling any piece of drug safety data. This document outlines the core business processes that make up that universe. The scope covers everything from initial case collection and regulatory reporting through complex signal detection and risk management. This scale creates an immediate logistical barrier. A pharmaceutical company cannot physically or financially audit every corner of this infinite universe at the exact same time. For decades, the industry relied on cyclical auditing, checking compliance boxes on a predictable, rotating schedule. But that method forces organizations to burn finite resources reviewing stable, low-risk areas, while active threats sit undetected at the back of the line. Treating every node in the safety universe as an equal priority guarantees failure. To protect public health, an organization has to triage its oversight. Global regulatory authorities, like the European Medicines Agency, now mandate a specific mathematical solution to this triage problem: risk-based auditing. Risk equals probability of failure multiplied by severity of harm. Every node runs through this calculation, populating a matrix of low, medium, and high-risk zones. High-risk variables, like a narrow therapeutic index or regulatory warnings, push nodes straight into the highest risk, crimson category. This matrix acts as a vital filter. It converts a chaotic universe of endless variables into a precise, actionable roadmap. That roadmap dictates 3 distinct levels of deployment. First is the strategic level, plotting the long-term oversight trajectory for the next 2 to 5 years. Next, that broad strategy compresses into a tactical plan. This targeted annual schedule focuses heavily on the moderate to high-risk areas identified by the matrix. Finally, the operational level puts boots on the ground. Auditors deploy to aggressively investigate the specific zones indicating the highest probability of failure. This audit checklist shows exactly what happens during that deployment. Auditors examine the oversight mechanisms, verify the roles of responsible personnel, and test the integrity of local quality management systems. This rating guide outlines how the resulting findings are formally categorized. An auditor classifies each discovered flaw as critical, major, or minor, based entirely on its potential threat to public health. By organizing deployment through these distinct tiers, organizations ensure their finite auditing resources strike exactly where patient harm is most likely to occur. Exposing a high-risk gap during an operational audit is only a diagnosis. It doesn't cure the problem. To fix a critical finding, organizations perform a rigorous root cause analysis. The objective is to look past surface-level human error and isolate the underlying systemic failure that allowed the mistake to happen in the first place. This slide highlights the mechanism used to neutralize that root cause: corrective and preventative actions, or CAPA. For it to be effective, the response must be highly specific, realistically achievable, driven by a strict timeline, and assigned to an accountable owner. The audit and CAPA process functions as a fortification layer. By resolving the underlying root cause, a previously critical vulnerability becomes a stable, monitored node within the safety universe. The industry is currently shifting toward the next evolution in triage: precision auditing. Instead of relying on retrospective risk scores calculated from months-old data, quality assurance teams are transitioning to predictive models driven by live data analytics. When an affiliate's event reporting drops, live metrics instantly detect the anomaly, flagging the bottleneck for a targeted audit before regulatory deadlines are missed. Prioritizing risk with mathematical precision moves the industry beyond reactive reporting. It builds an oversight model that identifies and neutralizes threats before they can impact patient safety.